This video is about 10 Python concepts that fix some misunderstandings. I will start simple and then move on more complex stuff. The first concept is that a Python name refers to an object. The object has an identity, a type, and a value. Assignment makes a name refer to an object. It does not automatically copy that object. Two names can refer to the same mutable object. If one part of the program changes that object in place, another part of the program can observe the change through its own name. This is expected behavior, but it causes bugs when the sharing was accidental. The second concept is mutability. Lists and dictionaries can change in place. Integers, strings, and tuples do not change in place. The practical question is simple. Should this operation share state, copy state, or create a new value? Make that choice explicit. The third concept is unpacking. Unpacking is useful because it lets the code name the parts of a structured value directly. When a function returns two related values, or a loop gives you both a position and an item, unpacking removes manual indexing and makes the expected structure visible. It also makes errors clear. If the value does not have a number of parts the code expects, Python tells you immediately. The fourth concept is iteration. In Python, iteration is a protocol used by many different objects. Lists, dictionaries, files, ranges, generators, and custom objects can all participate. The language asks for the next item until there is no next item. The fifth concept is choosing between an immediate collection and values produced over time. A generator is a different choice. It describes how to produce values without storing the whole result first. The sixth concept is the context manager. A context manager defines what must happen before a block of work starts and what must happen after it ends. That is useful for files, logs, database sessions, temporary directories, transactions, and any resource that must be released reliably. Cleanup should run when the work succeeds, and cleanup should also run when the work raises an exception. In production code, that guarantee prevents resource leaks and keeps later operations from inheriting partial state. The seventh concept is exception handling. An exception should be handled by the layer that has enough information to make a decision. Low-level code can preserve details. Application code can translate those details into a domain error. Edge code can decide what to log, retry, or return to a caller. Problems usually start when code catches too broadly, hides the original cause, or converts every failure into the same generic message. The eighth concept is that functions are objects. A function can be passed to another function, returned from a function, stored in a collection, attached to an object, or used as an argument to configure behavior. That is the basis for callbacks and some other elements such as decorators. A decorator receives a callable and returns a callable. The return callable can add behavior before the original function runs, after it runs, or around the whole call. The ninth concept is making important data explicit. Dictionaries are useful for dynamic data. They become harder to manage when many parts of the program rely on the same keys and value types. A data class gives that structure a name. It puts fields, defaults, representation, equality, and construction rules in one place. That does not make every object correct by itself, but it makes the expected data easier to inspect and review. Type hints serve a related purpose. They document intent in a form that editors and static analysis tools can use. They do not replace runtime validation, and they do not replace tests. They help catch mismatches earlier and make function interfaces easier to understand. The 10th concept is project-level responsibility. Async code is one part of that. It is useful when the program coordinates work that spends time waiting on files, sockets, APIs, queues, or databases. It is not a general speed switch. Before using async, ask whether the sole part is waiting, CPU work, or coordination between many waiting tasks. Modules and packages define another responsibility, what belongs together, what can be imported safely, and what other code is allowed to depend on. That's it.